The interview with Kennedy was interrupted by a phone call from David Ortiz, a well-placed phone call.
Rolled my eyes at
from
this.
David Ortiz. Kennedy did not divulge what the two spoke about, but he appeared quite pleased by the conversation. After the call, Kennedy turned more serious in acknowledging that the Red Sox have their work cut out to regain the full faith of fans after 3 consecutive seasons without playoff baseball and misses in 5 of the last 6 years. Saying, look, we have to add, and that's what we're trying to do, but I think we're in a good position to add right now. We need more pitching. Front of the rotation guys and bullpen. We feel good about our positional core. We really do. Kennedy expressed characteristic optimism about how the team's fortunes seem destined to change. Oh, boy. Well, here's what's happened.
Okay.
Since this dropped, Red Sox fanboys like Tyler Milliken are streaking through the quad right now. Okay?
He's literally at a fever pitch.
Yes. Okay.
It's driven him to sickness.
You know,
and so there's a lot of excitement about what Kennedy has said in that they want to spend, will spend, talking about investing, right? And how the CBT, as he said, even if it takes us over the CBT, our priority is 90 to 95 wins and winning the American League East and winning the division for multiple years. We're going to go over the CBT.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the key one.
Currently at $241 million, this is what he's saying. We're going to go over it. That doesn't mean Juan Soto, though.
No.
And so I would not take it to mean this is a done deal for Juan Soto.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And also, I feel like you should be skeptical of Sam Kennedy. Sam Kennedy has spun more bullcrap than anyone over these last 5 to 6 years because he's now on the front lines of it. He's the guy who has to go out and talk for these owners and does so regularly and frequently does it with things that don't mean much. So I'm not going to get all excited about Sam Kennedy saying these things yet. Stop talking about it. Go do it.
Yeah. Well, now's not the time to make an offer yet, Beetle.
Red Sox fans are so hungry for there to be good news and for this team to invest and go after it that any small sign that it might happen is getting them all horned up.
I do feel bad for him for that respect that he's always the front man and he's got to be the guy to talk. Because the owner's never available. Warner said that stuff last year and it went overboard, but Sam has to usually reel it back in to give you the reality of it. And when things are going bad, he's the only one facing the fire. And I think, growing up a Red Sox fan, being invested in them, having a gig, getting, I think he even talks about spent too much time from the golf aspect of it with Liv because he got that big promotion. And it takes away from you a little bit. But now we're really ready to go on baseball. That's part of your problem. Your other investments, what's more important? Baseball's your number one thing. That should be the most important.
We have talked about Sam Kennedy before. I've said, man, I hope he is well compensated. I hope that they have taken care of him because for him to go out and lie through his teeth about the intentions of these owners over the years.
I know.
I mean, that has to eat at your core.
And if it's really true, he really wants to give it to you because he wants you to feel good. He wants to feel that. He knows it's you're throwing out bait there in front of the fans and they're eating it up. Like you mentioned, the Millikins of the world.
I think if you're a Red Sox fan, you should be terrified right now. Talking about going over the CBT, I don't know how they're going to overcome that disadvantage.
Imagine going over that without
talking
Soto.
about what they're actually going to pay here. I know that's been a huge issue over the last few years, and you don't want to divulge that information to other teams. So now that other teams know that you might be willing to pay, I don't know how the Red Sox are possibly going to overcome something like that over the next couple of years in this offseason.
Has that been one of their takes, the Milliken militia? Has that been a take of theirs?
No, Sam Kennedy said it. We just heard it in that last clip. We're not going to talk about the pay. That's a disadvantage. We're not going to let other teams know what we're going to do.
Well, by the way, he hasn't committed to going over the CBT. He said even if it takes over the CBT and talks about we want to win the American League East championship. I mean, wow, could you set smaller goals for yourself? We want to win the division. Great. There's other steps after that. We want to go on a deep run. Okay. Well, if you're going to talk about going over the CBT, you should be building a contender. You should be building a team that can be in it. I didn't hear that from him, but maybe he's just said that so many times and it's fallen so flat that he's changing the messaging a little bit to have it try and sound more authentic.
We're giving him a hard time in all seriousness. I think I'm all in on them having a big offseason. I'm buying it right now.
You are.
It's not Tom Warner making a mistake and saying something he shouldn't have said. Sam Kennedy's been very calculated over the last few years in terms of what he's talked about. So the fact that he's willing to go out there and say this stuff, is it going to be Juan Soto? I doubt it. But I think they're going to be major players. You can't talk the way that he just talked in that interview and then lay another egg this offseason. Can't do it. Can't do it to that fan base. Can't do it to Milliken.
Patriots are going to go weaponize their offense, and they just fell up short on those receivers, McCone. It happens, buddy. Hey, we were in on him.
I don't know. Do I have to give you the quote from the end of last year from Sam Kennedy?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Anticipate our owner. This is again 2023. I anticipate our ownership group continuing to invest across baseball, whether that's major league payroll, international signings, scouting, player development, analytics, infrastructure. The commitment to spending has been there. How those resources have been allocated, the underperformance, just not getting it done, that's on us. We're responsible for that. We've had the commitment to spend in all areas, and I don't see it changing moving forward. We just need to be better.
It's kind of reworded, same points. That's his job. It's his job.
Well, that quote takes some wind out of the sails.
I can go back and get you more and more quotes on commitment and making strides and being committed, and ownership is all in. And
same recycled.
Taking us over the CBT, though. I feel like he's never talked about, like, you know what?
But he said, but he's right. Beatles said that if that's what it takes. And I think that's what it takes to get a guy like Soto. But if you don't get the guy like Soto, you're not going over. That's the way I take that.